President Trump has proposed sending $2,000 checks to eligible Americans, funded by tariff revenue collected under his trade policies. The idea is part of his appeal to voters ahead of the 2026 midterm elections, pitched as a benefit for working families earning under a certain threshold. However, the plan has hit a significant roadblock within his own party. Senator Ron Johnson of Wisconsin, a longtime Republican and ally of Trump, publicly rejected the idea, stating that the United States simply cannot afford it. Johnson cited the national debt, now around $38 trillion, and recurring annual deficits near $2 trillion, as major obstacles to turning the plan into law. In his remarks on Fox Business, Johnson said that tariff revenue being collected should instead be directed toward reducing the deficit and stabilizing fiscal outlook, rather than used for direct payments to citizens. He repeatedly said, "We can't afford it," emphasizing that the country is on borrowed time given the current trajectory. The tension signals a deeper divide in the Republican Party. On one side, Trump and some supporters argue that tariff revenue should be returned to Americans to offset cost-of-living pressures and drive political momentum. On the other, fiscal conservatives argue that the revenue should be applied to debt reduction and that additional spending runs contrary to long-held GOP priorities of limited government and lower deficits. Complicating the proposal further are questions of constitutionality and mechanics. Tariff revenue under the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, IEEPA, is earmarked for specific uses, and any move to distribute it as a general rebate would require congressional approval. Analysts estimate the cost of Trump's plan at $300 billion. Depending on eligibility criteria, a size that many Republicans find difficult to justify amid inflation and fiscal strain. In short, what Trump presents as a populist boost for Americans has collided with pragmatic resistance inside his party. If key senators like Johnson remain opposed, the proposal is unlikely to gain traction in Congress in its current form. The outcome will depend on whether Republican leaders unify behind a version of the plan that satisfies both the demand for relief and the concerns about fiscal responsibility, and whether they route the tariff revenue toward debt reduction or direct payments. As the debate unfolds, voters and markets alike will watch closely. A decision either way may send signals about the future direction of Republican economic policy and the feasibility of Trump's agenda heading into the election cycle.